I'm really looking forward to this episode coming up. I'm looking to learn some things. I mean, I'm old with big flat feet, and I need to learn about these ankles. We're looking forward to this, to hear a little bit more, and that knees over toes, that sounds, and reading. I mean, Mongol pickup rock. You want me to read? I'm really interested to find out about this reading thing. So I'm looking forward to tonight's episode.
And man, Tom hyped you up, so you better deliver, okay? Joey, we're super excited to chat with you today, and looking forward to everything we can glean from your awesome career so far in strength and conditioning, man.
Excited to be here. It's going to be fun.
Wow, we would have never believed this. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Google. Go out there and listen to us. So we're excited about it. We're glad you're excited about it too.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Muscle Matters. This is the show where we talk about why muscle matters, and we are met with tonight by Coach Joey Rossi, the Director of Performance at Cal State University, Bakersfield. But before we get into that, we have a sponsored message.
You know what? I'd like to thank Kevin and Coffee for keeping me awake after that horrible night of sleep. And you know what? I'm going to make sure you get us a drink today because obviously you're just a little bit off. Did you not drink your coffee? This coffee right here, the mushrooms, all the great things that they have in there, a little more mental focus. I mean, there's a nice blooper that we started off with. I won't even go there, but
relax.
Okay.
Relax.
No, I was just letting people know.
I've been up since 4 a.m.
Yes.
Doing the coach life. And honestly, a modafinil pill and a couple cups of coffee later, it's just wearing off this time of day. For my wife's sake, I just can't consume any more caffeine tonight, or else I'll be a mess like you were last night. How about that?
You know what? I was punching the air, but it's okay. God loves me. He loves me enough to help me.
Do we have two guys that use CPAPs on this show tonight, or?
I just heavily researched them.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's just contemplating his life decisions, figuring out why he hasn't jumped on one yet.
There are some things that are more, the most important things in life, and my CPAP is one of them.
Man.
It goes in my when I go to a plane, it walks on the plane with me.
Okay, so here's the thing I don't understand. People spend thousands and thousands of dollars on mattresses, but they're not getting anything out of those if they can't breathe right, and they're just not getting restful sleep through the night, right? I mean, you could sleep better on a couch if you had a CPAP, probably.
Well, the coach has said he's done some research, so.
Yeah, the big thing, like, we get kids, like, even your mattress isn't built for you over the height of 6'2", like 215 pounds. Like, we got guys that are 7 feet, 290, and it's like we actually heavily research the right mattresses, the right pillows, even sleep apnea machines being a performance enhancement. Like, you guys remember O2 tanks?
Yeah.
Like, they take those tents, put the rigs out, and they Velcro these high-end quarterbacks into these O2 chambers, pump O2, and now apnea machines have come so far that any guy that cares about his training, wants to be his best, it's sleeping just enhanced. I mean, I look at it, I don't even need it yet, but it's something you really should look at if you're lethargic or you're limited.
A lot of people don't realize that sleeping goes in front of training.
Yeah, completely.
Yes. And most people just think it's the art of training, but it's, food, sleep, and somewhere along the lines you get to do whatever it is you like to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much coming out right now about diaphragmatic breathing and teaching athletes how to manage their stress.
Say that big word again?
Breathing through the belly, my man. So use what God gave you, Steve. But seriously, breathing through the belly, not the chest, right? And even just getting out of that sympathetic state to kickstart the recovery process and make use of an extra 30 minutes before their next practice can go a long way, right? Yep. So who wouldn't benefit from more oxygenated blood? But enough about that kind of stuff. Joey, tell us why you're on the show. What is your claim to fame, man?
My claim to fame is just coaching. I love strength conditioning. I've been in it my whole life. Went from up north in California down here to Bakersfield to be the director at CSUB. And we're just trying to really win games and advance a pretty good program and just kind of bring it a little bit farther forward.
What was the lie they told you to get you to Bakersfield?
Well, you see, when you marry someone from Bakersfield, you're going to end up there regardless of your planning. And that's actually come to fruition. And I've met so many guys and gals that just like, I married one and gosh darn it, he got me here.
The black hole pulled you in, huh?
Yeah,
just no escaping
crazy.
the pull of this town.
I think it's kind of a hidden gem in that they don't want people to stop here. They don't want people to live here because it is a great city. Like, I got to tell you, I love it. Like, I love the people. I love who I get to work with. And I like the community a lot, like, from where I've been. Like, it's really fun. Yeah.
We're not holding a gun to your head, man. You don't have to say those
No,
things.
I mean,
okay?
literally, like I was in Stockton, which is a little bit rougher and it's a little bit smaller. But I mean, I've been in Ceres, California. I haven't been in like, I'd say like Malibu or anything like super pretty, but I just really like just who my kids get to be around. And that's just what I'm all about.
And that's one thing this town has to offer is good, wholesome, for the majority part for children.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the
It's
church
great family.
community is
Yes.
insane. Like I've met men here that like I just want to follow and just like I need mentorship. Like everyone needs a coach. And man, I get coached up. I can call 5 people that are within 5 minutes away from me that if I need advice on anything, they'll pick the phone up and just go get coffee. Tom being one of them. It's just like it's just a
From
great
Kevin
place.
and Coffee, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anywhere we go. Yeah, it's
Nice
fun.
plug.
Yeah.
So tell me this. I think it's really important when you're in the public sector, that is, being a college strength coach, loving where your feet are rooted at goes a long way. So going from where were you up north, Stockton, you said?
Yeah. University of the Pacific.
University Pacific,
Yeah.
down to here. And I mean, you're here to stay, I'm assuming.
I want to be here. I take a commitment for 8 to 10 years to any university I sign on, but you never know. But again, I want to make it better. I've never left a place worse, but coming into Bakersfield, we got to change a lot. It's a great culture of lifting. The Big Z, so much respect for Brendan Ziegler, is at Northwestern now, has a great foundation of lifting through our gym, and our athletes, we got to turn them away. And it's unbelievable to follow in the footsteps of someone that's done that great of a job. But we're gonna just tweak it a little bit, and that comes with different pieces, advancement in recovery, supplementation. Like we're trying to make that 24/7 commitment to trying to win games, not just you're in front of me, you're gonna lift all this weight, get real strong, but it doesn't apply to what you're doing out there necessarily.
Come on.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know how things work, maybe they weren't college athletes, they don't know how that hierarchy of staff, the strength staff works.
Yeah.
What is your position? Who do you have under you? And what does your normal day look like?
So being a director, you're pretty much overseeing your staff. There'd be your assistant strength coaches, 2, 3, 5, who knows? I have 1.5. So it's not the biggest staff, but they do great work. And our day-to-day is pretty much lined out in a week. So we live in weeks. I don't live day-to-day, and you map it out. You plan out where a team is, what they're doing, where practice is, what game they're at, recovery sessions, and you just map it out on a grid. Right when Sunday at 3 p.m. hits, it's pretty much go time. The texts start coming in with this is canceled, this is changed, you got to move this. Start going through that. Monday hits, we wake up, probably first session wants to kick off at 5. We're in by 4:30. Get it rolling, and you just start this assembly line of trying to get athletes in and out of the strength conditioning facility, doing their packets, doing their programs. In between there, you have meetings, you have practices, warm-ups, cool-down, stretches, recovery, and then there's a lot of consultations with coaches and different types of small meetings and things like that. Your liaison for a lot of those things is a sports medicine staff, and they are someone I think the relationship between strength staff and sports medicine is a hated relationship. Wherever I work, they want to be my best friend. So if you're going to put my kid in a boot, I want to know why. And at University Pacific, I had a great relationship. At CSUB, I have a great relationship. And I like to just really let us know that we're trying to do the same thing. And it always helps when you win, but sometimes you don't. It's a little bit tough, but day to day, it's just go and then limp home, recover a little bit, and do it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We always say in my facility, like, it really takes a tribe to build a great athlete.
yeah.
Well, you're working with teams. So what does that tribe look like even outside of the sports medicine staff? You're working with coaches. Do you work at all with teachers? I mean, keeping these kids eligible to an extent. You're a mentor to a lot of these kids, I'm sure. So, I mean, how far does that reach? And how crazy do your weeks get if you're just operating kind of at the mercy of all the other priorities in their lives?
But yeah, every kid's got my cell number. I know that's crazy, but they can have it because if they need
That's
me,
wild.
I'm there for them. And that goes a long way. And they know also what an emergency is. We have some good, that's not an emergency. All right. But I like every kid to know they can reach me or their coach. And outside of that, you're working like primarily, I'd say it's a team, but there'd be groups. Each team's about 3 groups, 3 different needs, 3 different programs, maybe. And you're just going in and getting to work. But you work with academics, you work with not your head coach all the time, but some staffs have 2 to 3 coaches underneath them. There'll be a skill guy, there'll be a recruiter, there'll be other types of scenarios, and you're just there to help. And bringing in the recruiting side, sometimes you get an email, hey, I got a big time recruit coming in, I need you to be ready at 1 o'clock. and I need you to like hit them with all of it. And you're like, okay. So you're part of the recruiting visits as well. And then coming to food, that's the toughest. I mean, I cannot tell you, like, getting enough food in these kids is so difficult.
It's a chore.
Because nobody eats. Like, you guys know, like, if you just eat, play your sport, do the simplest program, you're going to be great. But I have kids that literally like will not eat. And then it goes to that same thing. Like, you put your livelihood in the hands of a 17 to 21 year old who thinks that, you know, I don't know what to say, a McGriddle is enough to get through the whole day. Or they started at 6, they're in at 4, and they pass out. You go, what happened? Like, I didn't eat today. And it's just education. It's education. Every single day is education.
That was my first, when somebody told me to eat, they didn't explain it to me. And so I think that's one of the biggest things. And it sounds like something that you really do is an explanation of food. Because I was told, as I walked up to one of the bigger guys, I was like, how do I get bigger? And he said, eat. And he walked away. And I was like, I do eat. McGriddles, Taco Bell. And I didn't understand eating, like the biggest difference between processed meat and an actual real beef. It's a huge difference nutrition-wise.
Yeah, no, it really is. And like, we get kids always complaining more about like the pocket. It's expensive. It's expensive. And we try to prioritize this. This is a blink of your eye. Put your money, your birthday, whoever's in your life, have them help you financially to eat food. I came from very little. It's the same thing. It's like when you go to Starbucks and pay for a drive-through, you're paying a lot. A bag of rice costs $7. A steak, a good steak is going to be like $8-9. Like, you can eat for a lot less if you have people not prepare your food.
I remember that was one of the things when they told me to eat, and I was like, I do. And then one of my friends, he was the first one I ever saw his meals, and I saw it. It was a perfect meal chart, but my brain told me, oh, that's going to cost a lot of money. Yeah. But like, if you explain, like, in hindsight, as an adult, I can see, like, no, I was spending $7 here, $7 here, $10 here. By the time it was said and done, I spent more than the 150. I just saw 150 coming out at one time.
Yeah, it's insane what you'll spend on food. Like, one week I was super busy. I ended up spending like $110 on chicken and rice. So I was buying chicken and rice, but it was from L&L. Great place. But like, it's still like, man, that adds up for something I could buy a month's supply or a week's supply for like $35, you know?
And the reality of it is, it might actually be cheaper to eat cleaner, but you save money on Sunday afternoons when you're prepping all that stuff in a crock pot or in the oven or whatever. And I think that is the catch. I work with a lot of student athletes where the parents will say they'll do whatever for their child. But when I tell them hey, I need you to spend 1 hour on a Sunday afternoon mass cooking, rice, putting whatever on the Traeger, and then just throwing it in a Tupperware. Yeah. That's where there's like, hey, what are you ready, willing, and able to do? Well, not that. You know what I mean?
And when we meet these recruits, junior, senior, sophomores, one of my best lines is, please learn to cook. Yeah. Please learn to cook. Get with auntie, whoever in your life. Learn some recipes, because we get a lot of kids that do not know how to boil water.
Are they allowed to have the equipment? God, I'm saying the equipment. Half a brain, half asleep. Utensils that actually make food in their dorms.
Some do. Like, there's adversity to everything. I say figure it out.
Yes.
Like,
okay.
I don't. Yeah, you can have. I mean,
it's part of college.
Yeah, it's just get a barbecue. We say bring your own meat. Like, get to someone's house on a weekend, buy their groceries, use their. There's always a solution. It's how hard do you want to work? It's hard. I don't care that it's hard. Do you want to eat and make gains and change your family's life? Some of these basketball kids really do have the ability, or any athlete can change their family's life with some of the things you're able to do. And it's crazy. And some kids are all in and they do the work, and some kids don't, but you can just put love into them and just educate, because they gotta make the decision. Some, like, single sport strength coaches, and when I say that, it's a school big enough to employ one strength coach for their team, which is an amazing blessing. But that guy will literally go, he gets the van, takes all the guys. Wednesday's grocery day. My buddy used to do it. On Wednesday, takes the whole team to the grocery store. They sit there 45 minutes. They go in, they check their bags. Okay, good, got your food. They go back, then they have a cook day. Because again, you can't strength train 7 days a week, right? So these guys are like, we need to win. So Wednesday's grocery day. Wednesday early evening is cook day.
I want to know who came up with that concept, because that was not around in the Stone Ages.
No, but it's just everything's going to food. Like,
yes.
It's just, you see the training tables some of these guys have now. I mean, it's amazing. And that's why we're pushing, just when people ask me, like, do you want Catapult, a GPS monitoring system, velocity-based training? What do you want? Steak. Like, that's what I want. And I had a coach actually offer me that. He goes like, we can go catapult or this, or like, I don't really need it, but what do you want, Joe? I go, will it detract from the budget for food? And he goes like, it will a little bit. I go, no, I don't want it. Like, just, I know what I know. I just want them to have as much food as possible.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's just the truth.
That's a credit for you, because I hope everybody out there heard his selflessness towards his players and the people that he takes care of, because most people put themselves above and beyond, because that equipment would make you, quote unquote, a better trainer, a strength coordinator. I don't want to downside you by calling you a trainer, but it would make you better at your job because you have better equipment, but it would cause them to lose what they need to be better athletes and succeed. I mean, that's a pat on the back, and hope you guys caught that.
Yeah. And I have a big thing with just like, I don't know, like it's the fishing pole and the fish. It's like, teach them how to do it. Because again, we only get them for 2 years, maybe 4. But if you're giving a kid positive health habits, like they call you afterwards, they're not, diabetic. They're not having these problems. They know how to eat. And again, it's this little bit of like, why do you do the job you do? It's to make people a little bit better for their whole life. So a little moment there.
Love that. Yeah. Now, you mentioned that you're basically scheduling on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen 7 days ahead.
Yeah.
How on earth are you able to program before the show? You're talking about periodization, all that stuff, when you've got your week, your microcycle changing on a daily basis.
Oh man, it's so fun. And I got a lot of great assistants and they do a great job. But I said, like, no strength coach can honestly program more than 3 weeks out. So what we say is like, we know what we need to do. So KPIs are my favorite thing. KPIs are key performance indicators. I build a program with a coach, because the first thing you got to know is if coach wonders what I'm doing, I haven't done my job correctly. That builds trust. Because a lot of strength coaches stay in the dungeon and do the work. That doesn't work anymore. You got to go to coach. What are you looking for? Yo-yo beep test, vertical, conditioning, lean, big bad boys. What do you want? Oh, you're a zone defense. We got to be tough. Oh, you want, like, what do you, and then it's hard to ask them that question when they hear it. I want this, this, and this. And these are what I think are important. I go, okay, awesome. And we build a program together. Those KPIs are the main focus. Because again, if we do our job right, those KPIs should advance, even if we're 0 and 23, right? Job security, right? Like sometimes you get fired just because you lose. But if your KPIs show we're doing a better job, but we're not quite there yet on the sports side, but we've built an animal, a horse, whatever you want to call it, a tool, an athlete, to do the job that you designed, then let's look at it again. And we take those KPIs to the next year, adapt them. So we have our target. We'll look at an 8-week program. We'll slice it up into 3 and 3, 2 with a deload and a max. Then we just roll it again. And again, it's just a different group of people. It's a different attack, vertical, strength, size, anything like that.
But I would assume that, a practice gets canceled, a team event gets moved, whatever. That's probably going to change the recovery plan for the kids. Maybe the split a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So what does that look like on a week-to-week basis?
So I always say I need at least 2 days.
Sure.
I need at least 2. And I will tell any coach, if you'd give me 1, I'd rather not even have it, because I can't do a lot with 1 day. And soccer is an unbelievable sport. Some teams train, some do not. And they win national championships. But some teams that do are a little bit stronger, a little bit better. So there's philosophies with everyone. We get a lot of coaches that you're not going to win over. James Graham, I played for him, one of the best coaches in water polo. He would not give me his team in season. And I played for him. I love James Graham. And he wouldn't let me have them in season because he's like, I need all the time. And sometimes it's time, because everything's countable. But again, when I talk to a coach, is you want to go high performance model, you want to go in season work, good 1 flush, 1 lift, or we just set it as a split. But if I get 2 days, I can keep you strong. But those are big days. I had a great guy out of Arizona said, give me more days. You want to know what I can do? I can make the dent less. What does that mean? That means if you give me 5 days, I can get it done in 35 minutes. If you give me 2 days, I need at least an hour 15. Yeah. And the cost is greater. And this guy's really a great strength coach, but he says, I want as many days as I can possibly have, so my stress is as low as possible, but the most effective. So you come in, you hammer on 1 lift, you're doing recovery or therapies. Next day, it's like an upper-lower split kind of thing. It works, but it's not ideal, but it does work.
Do you prefer splits or more of a total body approach?
Total body. Me, okay. I'm always total body with an emphasis. I don't believe in splits, but the emphasis is there. The emphasis is we're going to recover posterior chain while working upper body push. We're going to do this. So every athlete knows when they train me, that sheet's long. That sheet is long. I'm going to take every minute I got.
Sure.
And it's going to be, we're firing up with this, and this. This is our main focus. Save up for it. Why are you're too slow? Okay, it's all done. It's done. Get over here and do this. And it's very quick because I want my athletes long, lean, and durable. So we always say it's not bigger, faster, stronger. It's fitter, faster, stronger.
It's how everything's changed. Yeah.
But you got to be strong. Like those, like you guys all know, like if you weigh this, you got to squat this. If you can't jump this high, you need to jump higher. There's just all these things that if you hit a benchmark in strength, okay, that's great. That makes strength. Nice. Conditioning. Yeah. Knowledge. Yeah. The bar graphs of being a great athlete is what I call it. Like, where are your bar graphs at? Oh, we're really strong. Yeah, but you can't move. You can't run, and you don't know any of the plays. So I've actually had kids that are so freakish. It's the best meeting. The coach's jaw just hits the floor. I go, hey, coach, I don't need such and such. What do you mean? Squats 525, verticals 47 inches. Your bench presses X, Y, and Z, and he's as fast as a deer. But he literally came out of the timeout and didn't know the plays. So you might want to you can take them. I only need 2.
Right.
And it's fun because you're trying to, again, win games. Because in NC2A, it's countable hours. Like if a coach wants all of his hours, he won't give me any because he needs all of them. Then you flirt that line of what is mandatory, what is not mandatory, and we never break the rules. But it's just like you just find ways to understand, like, let me win this argument because I want every athlete in my room. I want every team training 5 days a week because, again, in strength conditioning, it's be wanted, be needed. If you're not, you won't get paid. And they won't make my staff greater. They won't give me more money to buy things for these athletes. So I want to be wanted, be needed, and be a part of the university. Like I want to.
You said you hated sales. You have to sell yourself every day.
Every day. My dad's in sales. His whole life. I was great at sales, but again, it wasn't the purpose I wanted.
How do you approach a stubborn coach?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Break us down on how you approach a stubborn coach.
Oh,
especially like a tried and true old coach.
Track coach. That's the funnest.
Yeah,
no, so that whole debate of why are we lifting? The why. Why are we? That coach will never give you that prime candidate. You got to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Talked about earlier. Trust. When I first take over a program, guaranteed. I love this. Whole staff in, arms crossed, judgment stare. What's this guy about? I don't see it. I don't get it. Okay, yeah. Boundary set. And then you start winning them over. You start understanding our programming is good. Our meetings are good. Our SOAP notes are good. There's communication going back and forth. The kids are having fun even on the bad days. And again, you've built up. Why are you here? I want to talk about the program and what we're going to do this season. And that's never happened before. So what do you mean? Like, what's your offense? What's your defense? What's your rotation look like coming in? How many minutes is he going to play? Is he a 45-minute guy or a 27-minute guy? Oh, he's a 45 guy. Okay. Or the whole bench is going. And when you start saying like, wow, you have knowledge, you have experience, you have passion. Because again, knowing that I come from a coaching family, that this is how we put bread on the table, a lot of strength coaches disrespect that. And I go, that coach can see that, right? I've had talks before, like you've had a lazy coach. Hey, come here. Hey, Kyle, come here. What are you doing? You don't even look like you want to be here. Like you realize all these kids, they want to train with you. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to be there, I don't want to pay you to do this. Go home. Then you just coach them up a little bit. But again, stubborn coaches is bring them in, let them know you care, you want to win, you're invested in the program, and then the programming takes care of itself. Where you might get the slowest B team kid on the planet, he then becomes to make progress, shirt comes off, muscles are there, he's getting more time. Then wait, you should probably work with these guys too.
What makes you feel better, the pat on the back or the coaches asking you questions?
I have a box of thank you cards.
Okay.
That's what I love my thank you cards. I don't care about my rings or in an attic. I do not care at all. I care about getting kids jobs, being invited to their weddings. I've been asked to be a godfather to a couple, but it's like, it's amazing when you get, because coaches leave and every coach has a job. And I love all the coaches I've worked with, but they don't stay in one place. And that's the hardest thing when you lose a good coach. When you lose a good coach, it hurts so bad. But the kid is all I care about. It's just a kid. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that shows in everything that you do, man. Absolutely everything.
Well, it came out a lot. He put the kids in front of everything. I mean, I hope the core audience out there sees that. That's awesome.
That's all you got. Yeah.
It's important to get buy-in too from 18 to 23-year-olds on a consistent basis. These guys are figuring out who they are in early adulthood.
You hit the nail on the head.
I think I heard it on the previous show. You were talking about you're able to spend actually more time with them than their actual sport coaches. So the voice you have in their lives is immense.
Yeah, and it's crazy when you like internet, whoever's watching, like look up winning coaches, and if you dig deep enough, you're going to see a staff page. There's a strength coach that's been with them from the very beginning, and it's one of the first people they go and get. And it's really great to see. And with my family, unfortunately, I made the right decisions, but I've passed up opportunities because I want to be around my kids a lot, and I've made that decision. And it's just something where, man, you just got to go in every day, be yourself, don't be fake. And those kids they love it too. And plus it's fun. Like I tell every recruit, I want you to want to walk in the door. I really do want you. Now, there's going to be tough days, but I want you to want to walk in. I don't want you to fear this. Like if that hurts your knee, talk to me about it. Like I always say, when I first meet you, it's a level 0 relationship. 4 years of us together, you're gosh darn near writing your program in your 4th year, and you're helping the freshmen. Because it's like we know each other. We know this. Hey, remember conference championship last year? Let's hit that. Yeah, let's do that again. Let's do it. Yep. Looks good. Sounds good. Great. Get on your way. And it's that give them a little autonomy. Like you probably have in some of your guys' programs, it's like a baseball pitcher, right? The taboo of the shoulder. It's just press option. What does that mean? Do whatever kind of press you want. Like, I don't care if you're a White Sox guy, you're a Reds guy, you're a Yankees guy. Like, they all have different rules of what they're allowed to do. And I love giving kids the opportunity to choose something in their workout. It gives them a lot of like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's fun.
I do that periodically too, and you never see like I love when they do things that surprise me. I'm like, oh, you like doing that? Yeah, I love the inverse curl. I feel like my hamstrings are gonna cramp every time, but it's my favorite machine in the gym. You know, I'm like proud of you, son. So tell me this: you've talked about KPIs, a little bit about your faith on previous shows, loving on the kids. You hire and fire assistant coaches, correct? You choose your staff?
I do choose my staff, and my dad's a farmer. And he taught me at a young age, you got to put love into your crops from whatever it is. And if you don't, it's not going to work out. I've only had to let go of one person. It was mutual. And I've moved everybody else on. And I don't hire the typical person. Like I get a lot of knocks for it, like especially from administration. This person's the one you want? Yeah. Why? Because they have good pedagogy. They're a good coach. I've worked with calculators before who know the physiology. And it's like, I don't want to. No, man, like that guy can't coach. And I want an education mate. I want a PE person. I want someone that's done a job outside of sports and knows that they love it so much they want to be in it every day. But you do have talks, you shape, you mold. We're a trellis. I'm getting kids going, but yeah, go be a cop. Yeah, go be a firefighter. Go be a teacher. You should go somewhere else. Like there's little instances where that happens, but I just think we come to terms with it being like, you've outgrown this place. And I have a 2-year rule. So I try to move people on every 2 years because you just can't do a lot at the colleges I've been at. Like you should not stay here for more than 2 years. And I tell my staff, I promise them I'm as much representing for you as I am for me. And I tell them that transparently. I'm very transparent. I go like, I got your back. I want to give you $100K, but I don't have it. But I'm going to find it for you. Go over here. Like I know that guy. And it's fun because after you're at a place for a while, you get contentment. Like it's like, man, I want to do that. Man, I want to do that. Well, that's my job. I'm sorry.
Yeah, as I say, you're at the top of the food chain.
Yeah, that's my job. But I can get you here. And then it's great. But
it's like the Sith rule of 2, man. Yeah. You just got to keep lopping heads, keep one top dog at all times. I
like that nerd reference. I'm very proud of you for that one. The Grinch's heart grew.
Did we just become best friends?
Yes, I think so.
So where I was going with that was, what's the perfect elevator pitch? If a young coach is coming to you, bright-eyed, bushy-tail, super green, and they want a job, and you got a position open, but I've heard a lot about you tonight. What is it that you think makes the perfect coach? What could they tell you in 30 seconds that would swoon you?
What they're telling me?
Sure.
That's hard. I tell them to choose a different field. That's what I literally say,
go to Blake, go in the private sector,
do anything else but this. Let's see. My interview questions are very similar. It's what books are you reading? Tell me about the worst experience you've had in the profession. Tell me about the best experience you've had in the profession. And then just define your philosophy in 15 seconds or less. And if they can't do that, and I look a lot at the physical and stuff, the eye contact, the posture, these things, I know it's probably not going to go well, but like you, one thing I like about you when we first met is you're always reading. My favorite thing is what book has shaped your life the most. And that's just like, it's unbelievable. Like if you're not reading, you're not a great coach. Like you're not.
Okay. So what book has shaped your life the most?
Golly, I like What Drives Winning a lot. I read a lot of books.
Give us your recommendations, man.
If I was, I'm a strength coach. I'm new. I'm trying to get in it. And what should I read? I think that's where he's going. What would you recommend for somebody to read to get into? Because there's going to be a lot of people out there that are looking at it.
Yeah, Linear Periodization and Strength Training. I think it's like a 3rd edition. It's a book that's this thick. It's a really great read.
Is that Bumpa?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember. I'm a concept guy. I'm not the smartest man in the world. But, golly, that's really hard. The best book I've ever read, strength conditioning. I'm a nerd. So I like the NSCA journals. Like I really like journals because they're quicker. I love abstracts. I love getting to the point because when you read something, you have a lot of time. I haven't had time since 2010. So I get to the point and I like science. Like I really am a nerd in the sense that I want to know if it worked or if it didn't, not 8 chapters of all the fluff of it. You know what I mean? But I do challenge a lot of strength coaches and people to read outside of that, like read about business, read about argumentative language, read about communication skills. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of things that Mind Gym is one of my favorite books, actually. So when you read Mind Gym, it's by the White Sox head psychologist. This guy traveled around, worked with so many different teams, and he has excerpts of all these different circumstances. And you're going to go, that was me at one point. It's the first book I hand to kids that are a little bit like anxious. I got to read this book. Like just take it, like mark it up. I got tons of them. And you're going to go like, oh, that was me. I've been there. It's just a little bit of help. And I really do enjoy that one. So Mind Gym is one of the ones I'll hand to any athlete. Go to textbooks, listen in class, and then go stand on walls if you want to be a real strength coach. Because a lot of people write what they don't do. Like you will meet so many strength coaches say, oh, I do that. I do that too. I'm the best at this. I want to go see. Oh, we're closed. It's like, I want to see what you do. Like, cause I don't like, and again, Joe Kent, like, I love Joe Kent. Like, he's made more strength coaches than I ever will. And it's just like, he does what he says, tier system, all these different things. Like, he's really cool. And yeah, so that's that. So.
You want to learn from guys in the trenches.
Yeah, I want to learn from professional strength coaches, not authors. And authors are great. Cal Dietz spitting some great stuff out. It's just intense. Like, I'm not at that level, but it's really digestible and fun to read because he's still like in the scope of not a sports scientist, but a strength coach. Right. Yeah. And yeah, it's really fun. So always read is the main one. Just keep reading anything and everything.
Well, one thing I always recommend to my coaches is to stick, if you have limited time, stick to reading only what you're interested in. Because you're going to retain a larger percentage of it, right? Don't read about business if you're not into that. Don't read about, neurodynamics if you're not into that, right? Don't do it because I told you to. So what's something that you're reading right now? What's piqued your interest? And what's kind of, what's facilitating growth in your life? What's challenging you?
I'm going back to this kinesiology book I read. It's just like, because knees over toes, guys, is pretty neat, all about the tibialis anterior and all that kind of stuff. And I really want to understand the ankle as far as being a preventable measure, because we did a lot of force plate studies, and the proprioceptive ability of a human to self balance themselves is a key indicator in like NBA GMs. Like, how well, if I throw you in the air, can you balance quickly? And that factor is being proven to be highly marketable to GMs. They want athletes able to do that. My athletes, like, I got a lot of ankle sprains and I can't figure it out. So I'm looking at the whole structure of the ankle and trying to see what is it. Because you say proprioception, but it's like, I can't train. You can train proprioception, but let's look at the surrounding structures instead. Can we do a better tape? Can we do a different shoe? Should we be in the sand? Should we be in the water? Is it tib strengthening or is it not? Like, that's where I'm at. So just practicality, I guess, is the one I'm looking at. Yeah.
I just love listening to you talk. Yeah. It's very interesting, and I hope that everybody's out there. I want somebody to get at you. So I hope everybody out there is willing to leave a comment and a question, because I know there's tons of comments and questions because he's talking intelligently, but he's moving fast because he knows what he's talking about. So
Sorry, I just get like
no,
get
it doesn't.
going.
You're correct. Everything you know what you're talking about, but you're moving it fast. Where the lay person's going to go, hey, my knees hurt, my ankles hurt. So, what would be something good for them to read about strengthening their ankle?
Strengthening their ankle.
Or how do they get a hold of you? I know you're a busy man, and the last
yeah,
thing you want is your DM blown up.
No, I don't do social media. It's a poison. I don't do it.
That's probably wise.
Yeah, and like it's cost me jobs too. It's like I don't want to do it. Like, but I really do like the knees over toes guy. He does a great job. Chris Duffin at Kabuki Strength is doing amazing things. Get a real program to anyone out there watching. A real program does not change every day, not change every week. It's a program. Stick to it. Do the basics first. Develop strength, then try to get big. It doesn't work in the other facet, and just be coached. And simple things work. Like simple things work. Fitness and strength training is so cyclical. It's like fashion. I make a joke. It's like, oh, kettlebells aren't cool, but center mass bells are. That's a kettlebell. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's so funny. And like, just don't get caught up in don't get caught up in all this stuff and Instagram and NILs and all that junk. It's just, it's crazy, but just real holistic programming. And then if you need to find me, CSUB website, email me. I love talking to people. I love helping kids, parents, people that are just asking questions. So I'd love the emails.
Steve, you got anything else, man?
No, I'm good.
I thought we were going to get into the spring ankle because those springs, man, look at those in the threes today.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, we had a basketball guy on here. I had to break out the Tar Heels.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
Amen. Do they hook you up with any cool shoes?
They do, but I'm not a big shoe guy. I'm a real big barefoot guy. Yeah,
What a waste.
Yeah, I kick them off as soon as I can, like anyone. Yeah.
Well, very good. Joey, man, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. And guys, this has been another episode of Muscle Matters. Catch this guy on Cal State's website. You said email's the best way to reach him. If you have any questions about what he does, how to get started in this field, he'll, I'm sure, dissuade you from doing what he does in some way, form, or fashion. Until next time.